certainly. However, moving on from that, we all know and treasure your appreciation for the Maestro of Zerg, and I wonder, do you reckon that him and players like Boxer and Jaedong and other big names in StarCraft Brood will be able to continue their careers as professionals in StarCraft 2? Not that anyone can predict it, but do you think they have it in them to continue and translate?
I think Boxer can. I would be very unsure about Savior. I think Savior has shown that he doesn't have the motivation anymore to practice at the level needed to compete at the highest level. I don't know about some of the others. I don't know. I mean, I'm being very skeptical about Savior, I guess. But yeah, it's hard to say. Jaedong maybe, because he's still at his peak. I guess it's a lot of it comes down to how much of a difference, how much would players have to relearn when playing StarCraft 2, because these guys all started playing StarCraft when they were kind of 12, 13 years old, if not younger.
Yeah.
And they've been honing their reflexes since that age and been playing professionally for 10, 12 years. So to relearn a brand new game, essentially, to be able to compete at the highest level, I mean, that takes hours and hours of practice and motivation. And, I don't know if these guys have the motivation. I think Boxer is the only person that I will be sure probably has the motivation to make an attempt. I'm not convinced about the others, really. Especially those guys who've already made it, who've already made a good amount of money, and who are kind of set. That the hunger isn't there. Your stomach's got to be empty for you to really want to try hard, and to give your best. And I can see someone like Moon from Warcraft 3, because Warcraft 3 has never been as big as marquee an event as StarCraft. Although it is bigger in Europe, it's never been as big in Korea. And unfortunately for Moon, I mean, he's always been kind of in the shadow of the StarCraft superstars. So I can see him having the motivation to really make it big and to really kind of, and I mean, I would love to see both Moon and Boxer translate and see kind of them being the dominant rivals, perhaps, in StarCraft 2. That would be kind of, I don't know, that would be a dream come true. It really would.
Yeah, no, I think that's not impossible. If I remember correctly, I think Moon has proclaimed that he will play StarCraft 2, providing it's going to become a professional game, and Boxer, I think, has hinted strongly at that as well. So it could be an interesting future, even though we might have to say farewell to some old champions in the process. But speaking of champions, you recently commentated and uploaded on the quarterfinals of the OSL and MSL current. Any predictions on who will win? It's a very Zerg-heavy lineup this season.
Yeah, you know what? I would back Jaedong to take both. I really would. I would back him to be the first player to take both the OSL and the MSL. I think the map pool is right. He's got the skills. He's at the peak. He's at peak form, and I have to say, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but I have to say that Jaedong at his peak, as impressive as he is, I still feel he's not showing the kind of game sense and intuition that Savior showed at his peak. Now, maybe again, this is just me being a fanboy, but I do feel that there are times when Jaedong kind of throws things away that Savior wouldn't have, or makes mistakes that Savior wouldn't have when Savior would has his... I mean, obviously Jaedong has skills that Savior never had, like his Mutilus Micro. Savior's Mutilus Micro was never at that level. And other aspects to Jaedong's game that Savior never had. But there were certain things that Savior had when he was at his peak that Jaedong does not yet have, that I think could still end up undoing him. But if I had to pick a player, he would be my pick to take both events, really.
Despite his loss against Effort in the GOM TV quarterfinals recently, some people has been saying he's slumping.
Yeah, I don't think he's slumping. I mean, Effort is a very good Zerg versus Zerg player, and so if anyone was going to be Jaedong and Zerg versus Zerg best of kind of 3 or best of 5 matchup, it was going to be Effort. So yeah, I would say that doesn't really mean anything just yet.
No, we'll have to wait and see, but well, Jaedong is always the contender, and any final with him in it is a very watch-worthy one, most definitely.
And it helps that Oz aren't in the Pro League, that his team aren't in the Pro League playoffs anymore, so that helps.
Or that he doesn't need to practice for the GOM TV final.
Exactly.
Now we just might see Flash finally win that one, and I guess he deserves that certainly. I thought I'd move on to a less StarCraft related question, namely asking what you are willing to disclose to us about what you do when not under the StarCraft cloaking device in normal life these days.
Oh, entertaining Mrs. Klazart, saving the world, meeting President Obama, making fun of Sarah Palin, things like that, really.
Those are all very profound things to do. Which leads me to my other question, which, and as so many others before me have already done, I am compelled to inquire about if and when your many fans will once again have the pleasure of hearing you doing another dual commentary with the almost equally legendary Mrs. Klazart. Because when you were last asked the question by Peanut, you said that nothing but 100,000 hours of Klazart sex would do the trick. So I wonder, are we close yet?
Yeah, I've clocked up about 45,000 hours, so I've still got about 65,000 hours to go.
Well done. If I can put in a suggestion, and of course it's not my place, but I'll do it anyway, it would be great if that could coincide with both the release of StarCraft 2 and your book, because all good things should come in 3.
Yeah, well, it would be. I mean, it would be nice. It's hard to convince her, obviously, because she doesn't want to kind of do a commentary and feel that she's kind of not saying anything intelligent about the game, and she doesn't really watch. She doesn't really watch the game, so it's kind of hard to convince her to kind of participate. But I'm trying.
I think we're all both understanding and hopeful, because that was one of the more hilarious commentaries. That was out of the ordinary, I must say. However, to round things up, do you have any reflections, speculations, other well-phrased profanities, or last famous words you'd like to share with the world?
Boxer's a crazy mofo.
Indeed he is. Well, Klazart, it's been an utter honor and a privilege to speak with you on this, in my case, quite grey Sunday. It makes it feel so much brighter.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, and
my pleasure.
Certainly keep it up.
Mrs. Klazart hopes I can.
I'm sure she is confident you will. She is providing you with what, curry chicken, was it?
Yeah, chicken curry.
Chicken curry.
Quite delicious, actually.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.
Again, thank you very much, Klazart, for doing this interview.